And now, a moment of silence for mainstream media. Nearly a dozen mainstream news companies are laying off staff as the industry struggles to make money in the digital age. Journalists and staff have been cut from the Los Angeles Times, New York Daily News, Sports Illustrated, National Geographic, Business Insider, Forbes, and so on. Staff at some newsrooms have staged walkouts and strikes to protest planned cuts and demand answers from management. Last year, the media industry suffered its highest level of job cuts on record, and this year, that trend is continuing. The industry is suffering for a variety of reasons, but some of them include debt from media consolidation, subscription fatigue, people are tired of paying so much money for all these different subscriptions, and a slowdown in ads and ad revenue. Plus, recent Gallup polls show that public trust in mainstream news has reached historic lows. So this is all the perfect recipe for the death of mainstream media.
Do you think that's really happening, that it's dying off, or is it just a phase?
No, I think it absolutely is dying off, especially with online publications and old newspapers that are now moving online. But also, if you watch the major network news outlets, their viewership has been dwindling for quite some time now, and people that are independent are getting more views in some cases than those legacy media outlets.
Yeah, there's a lot I could say here. I feel like our media, whether it's news or any type of entertainment, it's so fractured now. There's so many different types of things that people could watch. And I did see an interesting video from Terrence McKenna back in 1996 when the internet was just getting started. He was predicting by the year 2024 that people would start watching independent media through the internet more than mainstream media. So,
well, he nailed it. He's correct.
That was a good prediction. So there's been a lot of layoffs in news and journalism, and a lot of people are unemployed in Hollywood right now after the strikes, and also the streaming service bubble seems to have burst completely, and they're just not shooting stuff. I saw an article that said that a large percentage of shows and TV has just shut down right now still because, the streaming services went through the phase in the early part of this decade trying to all attract viewers, and now they're realizing that none of them can be Netflix. They all wanted to be Netflix, so, no one can afford all these streaming services, so they're not shooting shows anymore for them, and no one's getting jobs.
Yeah, in one aspect, it is democratizing media because there are so many choices now. There are so many streaming services. There is so much content now, but there is way too much content. It's hard for people to know where to start. So they may subscribe to one streaming service this month, and then they get bored of it, or they watch it all, or whatever, and they cancel that one, and then they jump to another one. So all of these competitors, I'm not sure how many of them are really gonna last.
Yeah, it's gonna have to go back to cable type of situation, or maybe there's just two streaming services and they're bundles of everything else.
I actually think the media landscape is going to go somewhere else. The only market solution that I can really see is moving to something like micropayments, and of course, new media, people that are like us who are doing independent shows. Maybe there's some way that we can monetize, any day now. But I do think that moving to micropayments makes the most sense, especially when it comes to the news media. Not everybody can afford to subscribe to the New York Times, the LA Times, Wall Street Journal, etc. So if you want to read just one article, but you're presented with a paywall, then you can't read that article, so then you go somewhere else to find that. Instead, they should just allow people to come on and do some sort of micropayment, like a couple cents to read an article. And then it's up to the newspapers to decide how they want to distribute that money, whether it goes to the writers or whatever. But I think that will be the future, in addition to subscription-based content. If you like this episode, be sure to subscribe for more stories like this. Thanks for watching. I'm Brigida.